How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Transfer Daily. Of course, it's January, which means plenty of transfers. We're going to take a look at West Ham against Brighton last night and the possibility of Jadon Sancho leaving Manchester United.
How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Daily. That's right.
So, like I said, it's the month of January, which means the transfer window is open. It's not the most exciting of times, I would say, in comparison to the summer when everybody gets a real opportunity to bring players in. But it's that time of the month where sometimes you get a transfer and you look at and you think, wow, I didn't see that happening. Of course, it's also an opportunity for teams fighting for European places, fighting relegation and fighting for the title to actually make their move to try and strengthen and grab those positions that they're fighting for. But at the moment, so far, a couple of days or so into January, there's not a lot going on. I'll get onto the transfers in a moment, but I briefly want to speak about West Ham against Brighton last night. And the reason why I say briefly speak about the game last night is because there isn't really anything to talk about. That's 90 minutes of my life I will never get back. I thought this would be a really entertaining game. I thought there'd be plenty of goals. I know that West Ham have kept, 3 clean sheets in a row and everything. But Brighton are a great side. And I just thought, this could be one of those really entertaining matches. And I was looking forward to it. And again, I'll touch on a subject that I spoke about last week when West Ham beat Arsenal. At the end of the game, I heard some boos from, West Ham fans. And don't get me wrong, there was a lot more applause than there was boos. But you can always hear the boos. And they always seem to be the thing that you focus on, because for me, like I said, it's from the outside in. I don't get it. I can understand now why some West Ham fans, would like to see something a bit different on the pitch, like not that, what I witnessed as well, because that was awful. Imagine watching that. But again, I just got to say, what do West Ham actually want? What do they expect the club to achieve? If they start opening up and playing expansive football, then they're going to start conceding goals and they'll start losing matches. And, being pragmatic is not the most pleasing on the eye, but it's doing West Ham a job. And I can't really say much more than that, to be honest. It's doing them a very, very good job. And I get that they will look at teams, like your Aston Villa, for example. But with all due respect, Aston Villa are a much bigger club than West Ham ever will be. And it's just knowing where your limits are. I get it. Like, don't get me wrong, like I was saying, I love the ambition of fans. I love the fact that there should be no limitation to your dreams. Don't ever, ever take that away. Don't ever, think that you can't achieve something. But in the cold light of day and in the reality and in the real world, it's not going to happen. West Ham are not going to be challenging for the Premier League title. West Ham are not going to be playing the football that Man City play. It's just not going to happen. Players missing, injuries, all this kind of stuff as well. I think David Moyes is doing an unbelievable job. So I don't get the boos. I don't get it, to be honest with you. So, listen, it's another point for West Ham, point for Brighton, 0-0. The less said about it, the better. So anyway, let's go and get into the transfers. Now, of course, the one thing that you can guarantee with transfers is silly season. And that's when the most random names and the most random, talk of potential transfers seems to materialize. And you're sitting there scratching your head and going, what? Now, one interesting transfer is Kylian Mbappe. Now, obviously, his contract's about to expire in the summer at PSG. And now we have hit January. He is allowed to speak to clubs, around Europe. He can speak to teams in the Premier League about a potential move, even now, or in the summer. PSG obviously don't want to let him go. And it'd be unbelievable if they ended up losing him on a free. How mad would that be? But yeah, I don't know where I stand with this one and whether I can see him moving anywhere. In my head, I've always had Kylian Mbappe going to Real Madrid. That's where I've always felt he will end up. But Real Madrid have said not interested. If he goes there, then my word, would they have an unbelievable side. They already do, but can you imagine? So in my mind, yeah, a lot of it is just, I feel it's Real Madrid. But then you think, does he really want to come and test himself in the Premier League? Where would he go? Wouldn't be going to likes of Manchester United and everything. With what's going on there, it's going to take years for them to rebuild, and whether Erik ten Hag's even staying, or there's too much going on there. Man City don't need him. And then the two names that everybody's mentioning is Liverpool and Arsenal. Now, as an Arsenal fan, you can dream. It's what we were just speaking about. You can sit there and be like, wow. Can you imagine Kylian Mbappe putting on an Arsenal shirt and playing for Arsenal? Like, how mad would that be? But the reality is that I don't think I will ever see that. Ever. It's just the reality. We could dream, but sometimes dreams don't become reality. You know, can I see him going to Liverpool? No, I can't see him going there either. Yes, Liverpool would need a Kylian Mbappe. I just can't see it either. And again, Liverpool fans can dream, but I just don't see it. Ultimately, I feel that Real Madrid are playing a game of poker. They're probably keeping their cards close to their chest. Because the last thing they're going to do is come out and say, yeah, we want him. Because it just throws everything all over the place and the money just goes up even more. So yeah, I feel ultimately he may well go to Real Madrid. But, yeah, let's dream for a little while. Maybe. Who knows? Not going to happen. Yeah, the last piece of news and something a little bit more concrete during this period at the moment, and it makes a lot of sense, is Jadon Sancho could possibly, be leaving Manchester United and going back to Borussia Dortmund on a loan deal. And this, for me, would make so much sense. It's very evident that his time at Manchester United is done, or at least whilst Erik ten Hag is manager, it's done. You never know, if they get rid of him, bring in a new manager, it could be, the slate is wiped clean, everybody gets a fresh start. But whilst he's there, it's not happening. Jadon Sancho is not going to apologise, for his comments, and Erik ten Hag is not just going to let him walk all over him. So we're at a standoff, and that's why Jadon Sancho's not been involved for quite a long time now. But yeah, it would be a great opportunity for him to go back to the Bundesliga, go back to Dortmund, and see if he can rediscover his form, discover the kind of form he had that got him that move to Manchester United in the first place. It would work for Manchester United, because if he goes there and, he ends up doing what he did before they signed him, they could sit there and say, right, okay, let's look at our situation right now. Is Erik ten Hag the manager? Okay, he still is, so we have to move him on. But we'll get a good price for him because of how well he's been doing. Or is Erik ten Hag not the manager and he comes back in and he's flying? It's an interesting one. It's not nice to see it happen. But I just feel that, yeah, it would be best for all parties. Manchester United get some of his wage off the bill, because I can't imagine Dortmund paying, all his wages. It would be split, whatever it would be. But yeah, it's an interesting one, and I do feel this one will probably happen this month. So there we go. That is it for today's DT's Transfer Daily. We will be back on Friday, and we will see whether anything has materialized in the next couple of days. So if you're new around here, hit the subscribe button, smash a like on this video, and I will see you a lot soon. I'm out of here.